Hi, everyone.
This is Sydney and Annie here today with Dietitian Talk, and we're just going to do a Q&A, question and answering here, and Katie's going to start us off with some, and feel free to chime in with any questions you have.
Great. Okay, Sydney and Annie, one of the most common questions patients have chimed in and asked is, when can we add fruits to our diet?
Yeah. So fruits is a carbohydrate, and so
All
you
fruits,
do all fruits are carbohydrates, and so the idea is you just do the protein first. Once you're getting the protein met, that's the earliest you want to add the non-starchy vegetables. The earliest you would want to add fruits in is once you're getting both the protein and the vegetable goal met. But you honestly can wait as long as you want on fruits. You know, they're the carbohydrate group in general. Some people like to maximize on their weight loss and might wait a whole year before they maybe start adding those in, and that's okay if that's your personal preference. But the earliest you'd want to add them in is once you're getting the protein and the vegetables. In general, waiting until about 2 months post-op also for raw fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then just watch serving size. So instead of a banana, it'll be half a banana, a small apple. I know berries are lower in sugar, so you can do a little bit more berries as well as melons. But it's more just about portion sizing for fruits and trying to eat it with the protein would be best.
I've heard some concern from patients that there's a lot of vitamins in those colorful fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a concern that you're not getting enough vitamins if you're not eating fruit?
Not if you're eating vegetables. So vegetables have just as great nutrients with less of the sugar. So that's why we really hold off on fruits. I know with every diet you hear eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, but because of the surgery, the natural sugars can cause issues. It can slow our weight loss journey. So that's why we want to hold off. But you can get just as many nutrients from eating the vegetables and taking your bariatric multivitamin.
Yeah, that's where the journey vitamin really comes in also,
because you're not eating a lot of the micronutrients from fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, and if you're taking a regular multivitamin, that's why you need the journey one, is because you need the higher amounts of those things to meet your needs.
Yep. Perfect. You talked a lot about vegetables. Is there one way that's better than another to cook vegetables, or are raw vegetables the best way to get those nutrients?
A variety of ways to eat them. So if you can handle raw, you can eat some raw vegetables. You can also cook them. There are certain nutrients that are destroyed in cooking, typically vitamin C. So if you cook bell peppers, you're kind of destroying some of the nutrients. So that's why if you can eat a variety. And then when cooking, try not to make them like mush, if you've heard about that, because that kind of seeks out all the nutrients. But there are some nutrients that are enhanced by cooking. So I would just say a variety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the brighter the color, the more the vitamins. Mm-hmm. So if you picture like a canned green bean, it's kind of almost a dingy colored green, versus if you have a fresh green bean and then you start to steam them and they get really vibrant, bright colored, those have more of the vitamins intact. But if you leave them on the steamer forever, they start to leach out into the water, and the green beans kind of get that dull color again. So the brighter the color, the more the vitamin.
Does it work? Can you hear me?
Ask them again. Say, is this
better now? The sound? I forgot I needed to talk louder.
That's okay. Okay. So you talked about, what about frozen vegetables versus canned vegetables? Is one better than the other, or is fresh obviously always the best?
Frozen's really not that bad. There's very little nutrients that are lost in the freezing process, whereas canned, a lot of those are leached out.
They're supposed to be picked both for frozen and canned at the prime, so they should be nutritionally the same. But again, because of the canned and the fluids, it can be a little less nutrition quality. But if you're buying a lot of raw vegetables and they're going to waste, it's gonna hurt you either way if you're not eating them. So again, a variety. Get some canned sometime, frozen. Just make sure with any can you rinse it. Just get all the salt off and try to get the no salt added. And then frozen, try not to get the sauces and stuff. Make your own sauce if you want to put it on a vegetable. That way you can control the ingredients.
I know a lot of patients ask, when can I have a salad? When can they start having a salad, and what would a salad look like for a bariatric patient after surgery?
So again, it's not until your protein goal is
In
met.
2 months or later.
Yeah. So
Raw.
you might be getting your protein goal met at like 1 month, but at that point you probably aren't ready for the raw lettuce. So at that point you'd want to do maybe like a cooked spinach or cooked carrots, cooked cauliflower, or something along those lines. But if you're getting your protein goal and you're at 2 months, then if you want to add a salad, that's fine. Just make sure if there's whatever's left on the plate at the end is not the protein, it's the lettuce.
Yeah, and just because you're 2 months out does not mean a salad will go down okay. The roughage can be a little bit intense on your new stomach. Some people handle romaine, some people don't. Sometimes spinach or kale is a bit easier. And at 2 months, the salad could consist of some cheese crumbles. You can even try some nuts. But don't add too many new things to your plate when you're first starting out. And then eventually you can add a lot of variety of vegetables on your salads.
And always have protein with your salad, or
Yes.
protein on the side, or protein mixed in with
Depending
your
on your journey, at the beginning, protein on the side. And then eventually, once you kind of know how much you hold, you can mix.
Exactly.
Ashley has a question. What is it about our stomachs that isn't ready for raw veggies, like anatomically? Can you explain what's happening?
Yeah. I don't know the anatomy as well, but I can speak to the quality of the vegetable. It's just a lot more fibrous. And fiber is hard for you to break down, the same way that like dry, tough cuts of meat are harder to mechanically break down in the stomach.
So fiber is broken down in the large intestine. It kind of passes on through, and it's just the density, or not the density, just the fibrous material. I don't know the anatomy either, why after surgery it's that tough, but
I do know it takes 8 weeks typically, or 2 months for that stomach lining to completely heal. So kind of just maybe
it could,
baby
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Barb chimed in and said, I'm 9 months post-op and still have a hard time with salad. So that can happen, right?
Yeah, it's different for everybody. Some people are a little more sensitive to fiber than other people.
Well, and you think
or
that
certain
fiber
vegetables.
is getting down to the or the large intestines a little bit faster, so it's just probably not broken down quite as quickly. What are your ladies' thoughts on artificial sweeteners when you're adding that to flavor your water? Things like Crystal Light that have those artificial sweeteners.
This is your favorite subject.
So if that's the only way to get in your water, if you're having taste issues, or if plain water feels harsh and you tried the alkaline, you tried all different kinds, then I definitely encourage you to get fluids in. And if that's the only way, that's okay. If I definitely encourage more plain water. I don't know if that's you too. So the issue with those Crystal Lights and things, one, the colors are toxins. The sugars are usually not the healthiest for our body. But if you're eating a variety of foods, leaner meats, getting in your vegetables, we do in our body have ways to fight off the toxins. So it's not 100% detrimental.
There is some research out there that suggests that increased levels of artificial sweeteners could increase your sweet cravings.
Exactly, because again, I posted a video a little bit ago. Artificial sweeteners about 300 to 500% more sweeter than actual sugar. So if you're used to drinking that, nothing's going to taste as good as the artificials. And you might crave extra, like candies and stuff.
Yeah. But if it's keeping you from drinking a liter of soda a day that's got real sugar in it, then that's the lesser
or
evil.
If it's helping you get in your fluids, lesser evil. Exactly.
Are there any alternatives for sweets? For example, a mini cupcake.
Yeah. There's you can certainly make kind of alternative recipes. A lot of them with the protein powders that we have here are really, really sweet. And again, because the artificial sweeteners are so sweet, it doesn't require a lot of artificial sweetener. And so protein powders are a good source for that. You can you can check our Instagram and our Pinterest too. We have kind of some things posted on Pinterest, I believe, for that.
Some dessert recipes.
Yeah, we do have a couple, not a lot. Just know with making anything like baking, the artificial sweeteners and things or protein powder might change the texture or taste. Some people like the alternative. Some people want the real thing. They
Mhm.
just want a mini cupcake instead of a large cupcake.
Mhm. Yeah, you have the option of modifying the
When you
serving
feel ready,
size.
yeah.
Yeah. Or if you want to like just be strategic and count your carbohydrates, maybe it's someone's birthday and you know that ahead of time, and so instead of having the rice with dinner, you choose to have a little mini cupcake at the end
And
or
that's-
half a piece
yep.
of cake instead of having to feel like you need to pack your own little specially made thing that you made from home. You can also just decrease portion size
Yeah.
too.
And
And
look
it-
at it as a treat, not
Mhm.
something that you have to finish every meal with.
Right.
Right.
Okay, Ashley asked, when can we try all the fun sugar-free sauces? Also avocado.
Avocado's like at 2 weeks. You can try it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Small amounts.
Yeah, small amounts of avocado and sugar-free sauces at 2 weeks as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Barb asked, I take lemon juice, add water, and blend it to make lemonade, but I'm 9 months post-op. Is that okay?
Mhm.
All right. Kevin asked, since I'm on a blood thinner, the leafy greens is something I can't eat. Any suggestions?
For like
I
salad?
guess probably for salads
Yeah.
or
I mean, you can try romaine or iceberg.
Mhm.
Yeah, those won't have as the vitamin
Yeah,
K.
the vitamin
like
K.
spinach. Yeah, that is why you need to be mindful of that.
Yeah, so I think same idea what we were talking about earlier with like the brighter, the bolder the color, the more the vitamin that's in there, and so vitamin K being that clotting factor. If you did more of like a really shredded iceberg that was really paler in color, that would be lower in vitamin K.
I miss milk. Anything I can have that doesn't count as a meal.
Oh, so you're using milk as a meal?
Like as a meal is this like about meal replacements
Or do you
maybe?
just want to drink a cup of milk?
Anything I can have that doesn't count as a. Oh, maybe like saying a protein. Is she having like a protein shake, and that would count as a meal replacement instead of milk? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, if you're considering milk as, you want to consider milk as a food and not a fluid, and then it kind of ties back into that trying not to snack between meals, just because you're still getting the carbohydrates in milk. In a cup of milk, there's still about 12 grams of carbohydrates if it's regular milk. So you just want to be careful.
I thought I was told milk would be a meal, which is kind
Yes.
of
Oh, what you just said, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Did that kind of answer your question? I want to make sure. I don't know if
I'm
I
kinda a little confused
fully
with it,
did.
Yeah.
Wait for her to chime in.
Okay.
Next question is, if I'm craving chocolate, which is better, sugar-free or regular?
Depending on the stage you're at and depending on, where your goals, where your nutrients are, if you're
Mhm.
tracking, maybe if you're kind of higher in the carbs, you want to go through the sugar-free. Maybe if you can have a little carbs, you can do the regular.
Mhm. That's kind of personal
Yeah.
preference. That's kind of a opinion based one. Like me personally, I would rather have a smaller piece of the regular and then just budget for it throughout my day. But there are some people who maybe like the sugar-free and feel like they can budget better with that. So you just find what works for you personally.
Is dark chocolate better than milk chocolate?
So dark
Nutrition-wise?
chocolate, 70% or higher of cacao, and it should say that, do have benefiting qualities. But if you don't eat chocolate, you don't have to eat chocolate for the benefits. But yeah, dark chocolate is going to be more beneficial than milk.
Okay, one
I'm
more
struggling
one
on
more
my
question.
words.
All right, I'm at 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm wondering, can I eat any of the foods listed on the shopping list, or just eat using the foods on the sample menu?
So that will come back with another question of if you're meeting your protein goal or not.
Yeah. So how many weeks out?
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. So yeah, based on the shopping list, different proteins. If it's tougher cuts like steak and pork, that might be on the shopping list. You'll want to avoid that till 2 weeks. And just like Annie said, until